Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dig into the weird, wonderful, and sometimes slightly spooky sides of everyday life. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, ILoveWinter_01. Thanks for the suggestion, Winter. You asked, what does it mean when you see coins on a headstone? And no, it's not because the grave is haunted by a generous ghost tipping the groundskeeper. This little tradition has more meaning and mystery than you might expect. So, grab your loose change and maybe a tissue, because yes, we're going to get a little heartfelt, and let's explore the story behind why people leave coins on graves. Right here on Explaining Everything. All right, picture this. You're walking through a quiet cemetery. It's peaceful, the birds are chirping, and then, bam! You spot a penny on a headstone. And another one. And, is that a quarter? No, the tooth fairy didn't get wildly lost. What you're seeing is a tradition that's been practiced in various forms across cultures, and especially in the United States. It carries a touching purpose. It's a subtle way of saying, I was here, I remember. It's like the ultimate silent nod, except with currency. But here's where it gets interesting. Different coins mean different things. It's not just spare change someone dumped out of their pockets after jogging. Let's break it down. Penny, you visited. Nickel, you trained at boot camp with the deceased. Dime, you served with them. Quarter, you were there when they passed. Yep, it's like Morse code, but with small denominations of US currency. And here's the kicker. This isn't some ancient dusty tradition nobody follows anymore. Nope. People still do this today. Veterans, family members, and even respectful strangers will leave coins to honor someone's service or legacy. It's a quiet but powerful gesture, kind of like sending a text message from the soul, except it doesn't need Wi-Fi and won't autocorrect miss you to mess you. So, where did this start? The coin-leaving tradition gained traction during the Vietnam War. Visiting a soldier's grave was deeply personal, and people wanted to acknowledge their connection without making a scene, especially during a time when war was, well, let's just say, a bit controversial. Coins let someone say, I was here, I served, I remember you, without needing to explain themselves to the next person walking by. It was quiet, respectful, and universal, because everyone understood money, especially parking meters. But that's another story. Some folks also say this practice was meant to spare grieving families from having to engage in long conversations with visitors. You could leave your coin, pay your respects, and let the family mourn in peace. No awkward handshakes. No small talk about the weather. Now, America doesn't have a monopoly on grave coinage. In ancient Greece, people would bury their dead with coins, or bowls to be specific, as payment to Charon, the mythical ferryman who shuttled souls across the river Styx. No coin, no ferry ride, eternal wandering. Not ideal. In Jewish cemeteries, instead of coins, many leave stones on headstones. It's a sign of respect and remembrance. And unlike flowers, stones don't wilt, which feels very on-brand for Jewish practicality. In other cultures, coins or small trinkets are left as offerings, signs of respect, or spiritual gifts. So if you ever spot a little pile of coins or shells or beads on a grave, it might be less about making change and more about honoring the change someone made during their life. Okay, but let's clear up a few myths before they start rolling in the comments section. Myth 1. If you leave a coin, a ghost will follow you home. Nope, that's not how it works, unless you also took something from the grave. Then maybe don't do that. Myth 2. Coins are there to help the dead pay bills in the afterlife. While charming and very capitalist, this one's mostly historical or metaphorical. Modern headstone coins are more about symbolism than ghostly Venmo transactions. Myth 3. If you leave a quarter, the ghost has to grant you a wish. Okay, now you're just confusing it with leprechauns. Myth 4. The type of coin you leave determines how long the spirit stays. Sounds spooky specific, but no, coins aren't ghost timers. The coin type usually reflects your relationship to the deceased, not how long they'll be hanging around. At the end of the day, this whole practice comes down to one thing: connection. Whether you're a fellow soldier, a family member, or just someone passing by who was moved by a name and date, leaving a coin says, you mattered. You're not forgotten. It's a beautiful gesture, quiet, simple, and weirdly satisfying. Like tipping someone for a job well done, even if they're no longer around to hear it. Also, if you're ever broke and thinking of borrowing those coins, maybe don't. Not just because it's incredibly disrespectful, but because bad karma's real, and you don't want your laundry machine to break mysteriously for the next 10 years. So next time you see a coin on a headstone, don't assume someone dropped their change. It might just be the tiniest tribute with the biggest meaning. A penny might not be worth much in a vending machine, but in a cemetery? It's a powerful message that someone was remembered, honored, and maybe even missed. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.